Recording in progress.
Tanya,
Good morning, ma'am.
how are you? What time are we starting?
We're starting now at 10, ma'am.
We are
Okay.
starting now, Honorable Mkhaliphi, at 10 exactly.
Oh, GNU
Good-
must fall. They're late. Thanks, Deputy
Honorable
Speaker.
Mkhaliphi. Honorable members, welcome to all of you on the virtual
Recording
platform for
stop.
this
Recording in
mini-plenary.
progress.
There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. Thank you, honorable members. We will now proceed. Now, before we go to the speakers list, honorable members, I would like to remind you that the virtual mini-plenary is deemed to be in the precinct of Parliament and constitutes a meeting of the National Assembly for debating purposes only. In addition to the rules of virtual sittings, the rules of the National Assembly, including the rules of debate, apply. Members enjoy the same powers and privileges that apply in a sitting of the National Assembly. Members should equally note that anything said in the virtual platform is deemed to have been said to the House and may be ruled upon. All members who have logged in shall be considered to be present and are requested to mute their microphones and only unmute when recognized to speak. This is because the microphones are very sensitive and will pick up noise which might disturb the attention of other members. When recognized to speak, please unmute your microphone and where connectivity permits, your video. Members may make use of the icons on the bar at the bottom of their screens, which has an option that allows a member to put up his or her hand to raise a point of order. The Secretariat will assist in alerting the chairperson to members requesting to speak. And then lastly, honourable members, when using the virtual system, members are urged to refrain or desist from unnecessary points of order or interjections. We will now proceed to the first order of the day, which is the consideration of report of Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs on oversight visit to Merafong, Johannesburg, and Tshwane. Now, honourable members, I just want to make sure whether the chairperson of the committee, the Honourable Dr. Mkhize, has indeed joined. I do think there was a problem in terms of his connectivity. So not to keep anyone waiting, we will proceed to the second speaker, and that is the Honourable Van Zyl. Honourable Van Zyl, if you can proceed, please.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The oversight visit to Merafong, Tshwane and the city of Johannesburg has again confirmed what the people of Gauteng has known for a very long time, and that is that service delivery in many of our towns and cities has collapsed due to the weight of political instability, poor leadership, and a provincial department that sits by and watches from the sideline rather than fixing it. Maybe because they themselves don't have the capacity to do it. Basic services of government like water, sanitation, electricity, and refuse removal can no longer be guaranteed, where budgets remain unfunded, debts to Eskom and Rand Water are sky high, and where financial recovery plans are repeated yearly without any tangible results. In Merafong during our visit, the mayor promised that things will improve. Nothing has changed. Sewage still flows freely into the Pada River, 3 out of 5 wastewater treatment plants are out of order, incorrect billing remains a stumbling block where residents are billed incorrectly for years on end, and large areas of Gauteng lives in fear daily with the threat of sinkholes that the Merafong municipality, as well as the provincial Cooperative, has simply ignored. There is no credible plan to address this disaster. There are just more and more reports, more consultants, and more money that disappears without any real outcome. 5 million rand has been paid for a study at Hlanganani Primary School, but the sinkhole is still there. In the meantime, residents are losing hope, while the MEC for Cooperative speaks about collaboration instead of intervention. In Tshwane, in spite of the new political leadership, or maybe because of it, service delivery remains a crisis. The water crisis in Hammanskraal remains unresolved. The mayor promised that this will be sorted out by November 2024, but up till today, residents remain without clean drinking water. What else could be expected where Mayor Moya, the one responsible for the city, owes the city 270,000 rand due to overpayments received, and where the second in charge Deputy Mayor Modiso's Mzansi Resorts bill is 23 million rand with no plan in place to recover it. The backlog on infrastructure is estimated at 65 billion rand, and there are near 600 informal settlements without electricity, sanitation, or refuse removal. These aren't just statistics, they are families without dignity. In the city of Johannesburg, things aren't any better. With a coalition of 15 parties, this city goes from one crisis to the next. Roads remain full of potholes, water losses remain at 50%, and Pick It Up has lost against dumping sites and ruin. The city's debtors book is at 58 billion rand and is growing faster than the grass that remain uncut on the sidewalks. A recent article by News 24 dubbed Johannesburg as a city on autopilot, given the absence of senior leadership of the COJ 2 weeks before the all-important G20 summit. Chairperson, the DA has warned that unstable coalitions, a lack in consequence management, and political meddling will be the downfall of local government. And in visiting these cities, it was evidence. What the committee found was that impacts weren't functional, forensic investigations are ignored, and staff that incur UIFWE simply resign before they must account for it. The AG has, year after year, shown that billions of rands is lost to UIFWE, and it never gets investigated. Where is the provincial cocktail in all of this chaos? Absent. This department has become a spectator instead of playing an active role in supporting and supervision. Section 139 already provides a clear mandate of protecting residents when municipalities fail. It doesn't need a dialogue or summit. Chairperson, it is at this point that we as Cooperative Committee must ask ourselves, what are we really doing? How long will this committee still go on oversights, produce reports and recommendations while nothing changes for the people on the ground? The people of Gauteng deserve action, not just another turnaround plan that ends up in the MEC's filing cabinet. The DA believes that accountability must be restored, not through more meetings or reports, but through decisive leadership. Municipal managers that have, over the years, produced many unqualified and disclaimed audits must be removed. Impacts must be trained and disciplinary boards must be established and functional. Provincial Cooperative must intervene where local leaders fail. Chairperson, behind all of these statistics are real people. The families of Gauteng, where homes are disappearing into sinkholes, the residents of Hammanskraal that are still waiting for clean drinking water, and the residents in Johannesburg who have seen a total collapse of all the services in the city. The DA cannot be silent while Gauteng municipalities rot from the inside. Our councillors and public representatives will continue to demand consequence management, transparency, and leadership that will serve the people, not the politicians. Chairperson, oversight without acting means nothing. The local government elections are around the corner, and people will vote for the change they want to see in their communities. They will vote DA. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. We will now return to the Honourable Mkhize, who has managed to join the platform. Honourable Mkhize. Honourable Mkhize, you are muted. You are still muted. There we go. Yes, please. Can you please start from the beginning, because we could not hear you, Honourable Mkhize.
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. You may guide if maybe I need to switch off my video, but I'm fine to continue. From the 19th to the 21st of November, the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative visited Gauteng Province, Merafong, Johannesburg, and Tshwane municipalities as part of our oversight institutional responsibility. The visit emanated from the committee's observation and public outcries about the state of governance and financial mismanagement and deteriorating services in these municipalities. Merafong is politically stable and is not a hung municipality. However, Tshwane and Johannesburg had frequent changes in mayorships, and as a result of unstable political leadership of the coalition government. Water and sewage treatment challenges already resulted in due to cholera outbreaks in Tshwane and other areas affected. The committee received the presentation from the council, from the MEC, from COCTA, and from Treasury Department and the administration of the concerned municipalities. Tshwane projected a promising outlook with a more responsive new political leadership in place. According to the MEC, the leadership was urged to focus on improving revenue collection on water and electricity, strengthening financial systems in order to enhance audit outcomes, prioritize service delivery, and regaining public trust. Johannesburg had frequent changes in political leadership. The municipality was not paying sufficient attention to revenue collection and the identification of debtors, including staff and councillors, for collecting over 58 billion rand owed rather than unnecessarily relying on increasing its borrowing to improve liquidity, which we thought was unsustainable. The high levels of poverty and challenges of low revenue and huge debt was found to be more severe in Merafong municipality. This was exacerbated by huge debt owed by the mining companies, which have clearly taken advantage of the by withholding rates payments from municipalities, keeping the matter endlessly in court. The high debt owed to Eskom and Rand Water affected most municipalities in the province, with a few exceptions. Across the municipalities, there was a high level of non-revenue water and electricity losses due to aging infrastructure and illegal connections, and a need, therefore, to address solid waste management and prevention of illegal dumping, which has been worsened by the increasing and mushrooming of informal settlements. Whilst the impact and other municipal oversight structures were in place, there was a need to strengthen them to be more functional and to emphasize on the investigation on reduction of unauthorized, irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure and the implementation of consequence management. Committee believes that the implementation of consequence management will ensure that there's a change in the culture of impunity and make sure that we've got a much more responsible financial management approach. Merafong, together with other municipalities in the West Rand District and Mfuleni, have been in Section 139 of the Constitution, and we have urged COCTA that it needs to exercise more support, especially in the area, because it's more prone to disasters and sinkholes, and to address the questions surrounding the utilization of funds allocated to the Hlanganani sinkhole. And this matter has been a matter of dragging for a long time that needs attention. Our observation as a committee was that there was a need for municipalities for a strong monitoring, especially by the MEC, in cases and functionalities of
My
MPEC.
my apologies, Honourable Mkhize. Could I just ask that members please mute their devices, and then can I also ask that members whose cameras are on and you're not speaking, it does have an impact on the bandwidth and the connectivity. So please make sure your cameras are off. Honourable Mkhize, please proceed. You can remain on camera. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, unfunded budgets in Tshwane and Merafong need to be addressed, and this is a challenge that we want to put on COGTA at provincial and national level to address across the different municipalities in the country. The committee also raised the issue of municipalities' budget spent, that it should be, the budget spent should be weighed against the impact on service delivery, and that it will assist to have service delivery surveys to measure the resident satisfaction with the services of the municipalities concerned. The committee, because of this, therefore identified again that these municipalities need to be approached again when we did the joint oversight visits subsequently with the committee, the standing committee on the AG, as well as that on the SCOPA. The committee therefore recommends that the report be adopted by the House, and we want to thank the members for all the support and the work that has been done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The next speaker is the Honourable Mthethwa.
Greetings, Chair. I would like to address an area which has not been mentioned in this oversight visit. One, the role of traditional leadership in the Gauteng province. One, we are sitting with the land claims report, which has actually claimed the entire province in relation to Amandebele, the Batswanas, the Bapedis, the Basutus, the Zulus, the Swatis, the Tsongas, and all of them were dragged into Gauteng so that they can be forming part of the mining era. And since that time until today, they are sitting in Gauteng in informal settlement, in the hostels, and no revamp that is being done. And that is the role of the municipalities, all of them combined, the Merafong, Johannesburg, and the Tshwane municipality. It is actually a sore eye to see hostels, family units that are supposed to be built for all of these communities. We also have Izinduna of Amakosi in all of these municipal areas. They are also not being catered for because there is a narrative that says that in Gauteng there are no kings and there are no traditional leadership. It's a lie that we need to stop because the land claims report is very clear of the tribes that were occupying that space. I can tell you Gauteng is very much developed to the point that they are not sitting with infrastructure development issues. You are sitting with an oversupply in terms of revenue collection based on the numbers of people that are residing there, but we are poor in collecting our monies from those people, improving our systems in municipalities in terms of service delivery. We've got a very huge collection revenue base from all people that are working in Gauteng so that we cross-subsidize those that are sitting in formal settlement and in rural areas that are not being covered. So it is actually an oversight on the part of government at the local sphere level whereby the people who are supposed to be benefiting are not benefiting, and yet we are sitting with a lot of money. I can also tell you from the financial authority that there are unclaimed benefits that are sitting with the financial authorities for all the workers that were working in the mines. The actually insurance companies are saying that they cannot trace and find these people. But you go to the hostels in all these municipal areas, you will find communities that are connected to the mining community that is owed these monies. So we need to take that money to improve the lives of all of these people. But be that as it may, we should be doing well in terms of this. And also, Gauteng is suffering from the legacy of Force Removal Act. That's why we are sitting with Marabastad, which is a sore eye in the capital city of the country. We're sitting with Sophia Town in Johannesburg, which is also a sore eye where black people were forcibly removed from their areas and they made way for the white people to settle in the so-called suburbs of Gauteng, and black people are outside the city. And today, they are the same people who are bearing the brand of not being served by the same municipalities, yet it is the only areas that are underdeveloped that are sitting with spillages in their communities of sewer. So, but be that as it may, the oversight report revealed a very harsh reality. Gauteng municipality, the angel of our economy, are in a distress. Collision, instability, failing infrastructure, and collapsing financial systems are threatening the service delivery for millions. In Tshwane, you have a 4 billion credit deficit deficit, 11 billion owed to creditors, and 32% water losses illustrate a city on the brink. In Johannesburg, nearly 58 billion is owed to the city, while borrowing escalates unsustainably. Water crisis, non-revenue electricity losses, and informal settlement growth expose governance strain and capacity gaps. Merafong faces a sinkhole disaster,
Honourable
5.2
Mthethwa,
billion.
your time has expired. Thank you. The next speaker is the Honourable Mkalipi.
Thanks very much, Deputy Speaker. Greetings to the colleagues. Deputy Speaker, the Oversight Gauteng report covered 3 municipalities, which is Tshwane, Johannesburg, and Merafong. Tshwane visit took place when the new government, which is coalition government, was just constituted barely for a month. This new government formed after a long drama of previous governments, which costed people of Tshwane in terms of service delivery. What was notable, Deputy Speaker, and visible within a month of newly formed government was a fresh air in the capital city of South Africa after the new MMC of Agriculture and Environment fighter Gauteng from the Economic Freedom Fighters prioritized the cleaning of Tshwane. Sithi-ke i-EFF inika ithuba will change the lives of people of South Africa. The same was noticeable at the Johannesburg Metro, and specifically, we noted the changes that have been made by the 2 MMCs for public safety and the one for health and social development. There are 24-hour clinic now under MMC for health. Eni Makafola is one of the most important interventions made in South African municipalities, allowing these health centers to be open at any time of the day. The MMC for public safety, Dr. Mthethwa, has transformed the Johannesburg Metro Police into a visible and reliable crime-fighting entity in that municipality. There are city-wide crackdown on crimes, including operations targeting hijacked buildings, drug dens, and many more activities like bylaw enforcement by conducting search and seizure raids and cleaning up illegal dumping sites. Sadly, Deputy Speaker, the same cannot be said about Merafong municipality, where we were met with arrogance from the municipal leadership. This was demonstrated more acutely towards community members who had gone to the municipality for help. As a result, people flocked the chambers upon knowing Committee of Parliament is coming to Merafong. The municipality prevented the public from being part of the oversight until we intervened and they were then allowed. Amongst many issues identified in Merafong was the scandal of 5 million rands that was supposed to close a sinkhole, which has claimed the lives of school children in the area. Municipality lied and said indeed the money was used for the intended project, only to find out that after the mayor was exposed and her team used all 5 million for other purposes. We will be failing people of Merafong in this matter if this matter is not concluded in the satisfactory of the people of Merafong. I thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Mkalipi. The next speaker is the Honourable Buthelezi.
Thank you, thank you, Honourable Chair. I hope you can indulge me to switch off the camera. It's interfering with my network, if I may.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. Honourable Chairperson, the IFP appreciates the work done by the committee and acknowledges the complexity of restoring stability and service delivery in municipalities that have faced years of administrative and financial decline, as has been demonstrated by our colleagues who have broken down municipality by municipality. We also commend the department for its ongoing efforts to strengthen municipal capacity, promote good governance, and ensure that support and intervention measures are better coordinated across all 3 spheres of government. However, Honourable Chairperson, the report makes it clear that deep-rooted challenges persist. Financial mismanagement, political instability, and weak accountability and poor consequence management continue to frustrate service delivery and erode public confidence. Many municipalities have also repeatedly ignored AG reports and recommendations year in, year out. We believe that these challenges require a renewed culture of ethical leadership and professional administration. In particular, the instability caused by fragile coalitions in major metros such as Johannesburg and Tshwane must be addressed through a clear national framework that promotes stability and ensures that political contestation does not come at the expense of citizens. The IFP remains committed to building capable, transparent, and responsive, people-centered municipalities that deliver clean water, reliable services, and dignity to our communities. The IFP, on that basis, with this in mind, accepts the report. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honourable Buthelezi. Our next speaker on the list is the Honourable Van Wyk.
Honorable Speaker, greetings to all the members. The Patriotic Alliance rises in support of the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Oversight Report in Merafong, Johannesburg, and Tshwane. This report is not just a reflection of municipal performance, it is a sobering account on how governance failures impacts the daily lives of our people. It demands consequence and not complacency. In Merafong and Tshwane, the committee uncovered severe service delivery breakdowns, particularly in water, sanitation, and waste management, irregular and wasteful expenditure with limited consequences for those responsible. Governments instability driven by factionalism and administrative paralysis, ineffective provincial interventions, proving that oversight without enforcement is meaningless. Honorable Speaker, the Patriotic Alliance does not tolerate the dysfunction. We stand for restoring dignity through the delivery. We therefore fully endorse the Portfolio Committee's recommendations, and we call for forensic audits with findings made public and acted upon, deployment of competent apolitical administrators focus on restoring basic services, criminal referrals for officials implicated in corruption and maladministration, community-led monetary forums to rebuild trust and ensure transparency. Now, regarding Johannesburg, the Patriotic Alliance holds executive responsibility to acknowledge.
Honourable Van Wyk, your time has expired, unfortunately. Speakers only have 2 minutes. I now move on to the Honourable Wessels.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, this report and this oversight revealed very effectively all the challenges in these municipalities and the reasons to a large extent for the poor service delivery that residents are facing on a daily basis in these jurisdictions, especially in Merafong. The question, Deputy Speaker, that we have to ask ourselves is, what are we busy with? Is this debate on this report and the consideration of the report later in a full plenary just a hypothetical and an academic exercise? Because this oversight took place more than or almost a year ago. The recommendations are now moot. Why is this report only serving in the National Assembly a year later? We are reducing our oversight role, and whilst the committee is doing very good work by scrutinizing and by actually engaging these municipalities where people are suffering due to a lack of governance and a lack of consequence management and all of that, the recommendations have no power because we don't actually resolve on it in this House because it takes so long. It is really of concern that a report only serves now, and it does not serve and benefit the people of these municipalities if we do it in this way. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Wessels. The next speaker is the Honourable Leklape.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Allow me to keep my video off for bandwidth issues.
That is an order.
I welcome the report, but part of the issues that have been highlighted by the Chair are the issues of unfunded mandates to Merafong and Tshwane. We also need to be pragmatic and look there
elephant in the eye. We have a culture of non-payment for services, as exemplified by the fact that a major hospital for mentally ill patients in Tshwane was switched off for non-payment. This has an impact on the efficiency of municipalities. There's a negative impact of unplanned settlements in terms of service provision. We have too much government and no accountability. We do visit. It takes us a year to come around to the report. By that time, things have changed. We need to improve the reporting cycle on oversight visits. We need to make sure that there's better consequence management. And we, at a political level, need to ensure that post-elections, all of us collectively are a government tasked to deliver to the people, whether it's at national government or it's at local government. That is why coalitions don't work, because of no discipline from us as politicians and no discipline from parties in prioritizing citizens and ensuring that we put them first. Chair, we need to address the issue of non-payment and the issue of no consequences. It's the too much government that creates people going away with it. Departments that do not pay their bills in time should be prosecuted. We should start with ourselves to improve the culture of payment. We support the report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Letlape. Honourable Thring, you are the next speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Can I ask whether we have 3 minutes or 2 minutes? I thought I heard you saying 2 minutes to one of the other speakers.
2 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Honourable Deputy Speaker, the ACDP has consistently called for accountability for non-compliance of municipal legislative frameworks and for the appointment of able, trustworthy men and women who fear God and who hate dishonest gain in local government structures. The Oversight report confirms that what residents already know, that Merafong and Johannesburg are plagued by collapsing infrastructure, irregular expenditure, and poor financial controls. In Tshwane, the Municipal Finance Management Act Quarter 1 report reveals that performance indicators with no quarterly targets remain unresolved, and that notable variances in service delivery persist across departments. This is not merely administrative failure, it is a breach of public trust. We note with alarm the recent media coverage of Johannesburg's water crisis, where residents in Brixton and Crosby endured dry taps for weeks due to infrastructure neglect and poor coordination between city and provincial officials. In Merafong, social media posts from ward councillors have highlighted unresolved sewage spills and uncollected refuse, despite repeated community petitions. The ACDP calls for forensic audits, strengthened municipal ethics frameworks, and urgent capacitation of ward committees to restore dignity and responsiveness in local governance. As kingdom builders, the ACDP commends the committee's efforts, but oversight visits must be matched by consequence management. They should not be tick-box exercises to observe dysfunction, but must be accompanied by action to bring the necessary intervention to correct it. And the ACDP has led by example with our Honourable MPL Dalton Adams, leading the charge in the city of Johannesburg, without payment going to clean the city street by street. The ACDP leads by example. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Thring. I am just going to run through the the other parties because they have not indicated any speakers and I don't see them on the platform, but just to make sure, UDM. No one. RISE. BOSA. ATM. Al-Jamar. NCC. PAC. UAT. And then we close the debate with the Honourable Sumpa Masiu.
Thanks, Deputy Speaker. The city of Johannesburg and the city of Tshwane, as the biggest city in Gauteng, play a crucial in the economic life of our country. All municipalities that fall under these 6 cities are the cornerstone and the backbone of economy. The level at which these municipalities conduct their business and govern themselves. It's important and how the country conducts its business. However, we cannot deny that local government is a critical state in the report before us in any to go by. All municipalities are victims of 2021 local government election outcome. As a result, political instability has been the order of the day in many of them. As the committee, our oversight visit has been centered around 3 pillars and fact-finding missions: governance matters, problems related to service delivery, and the existence of local economic development initiative to address poverty and unemployment. This fact-finding mission we do in such a way that it's robust and non-partisan, and at the core must be our constitutional mandate as Parliament prioritizing the needs of the people on the ground. The report from different stakeholders, especially Department of Culture, were refreshing to listen, especially they related to interventions and support offered by the department to municipalities. For instance, the MEC in their overview highlighted that the department has come to realize that working collaboratively with municipalities sometimes yield better outcome than placing them under intervention in terms of Section 139 of the Constitution. This is the kind of dynamic thinking and foresight that should encourage all those involved in local government space to adopt. Such an approach requires that we are able to see early warning signs so that we are able to confront the challenges as early as possible. We ought to remember that when dealing with local government, we are dealing with politicians, and sometimes interventions are interrupted as political interference. Therefore, collaboration approach for dealing with problems are often the way to go because it assures municipalities of their autonomy, capacity to govern in the right system if the right systems are put in place. The report showed that systems within the municipality are weak, especially the revenue collection system in Johannesburg and Merafong. The same is true with the audit outcome because the financial books are not in order. In Merafong, it's not an issue of unstable coalition, but an issue of high debts owned by municipalities, which has disturbed its functioning. More concerning in the sinkhole in Gauteng, and we hope it has been attended to and communities affected have been engaged. Many other issues are day-to-day known problems and that require dedication from the municipality, administration, and political involvement in local government space. The African National Congress continue to engage its structures where we are elected in local government. Our view is to desist from political squabbles to a more service delivery oriented political and embrace people's first. Lastly, we must emphasize that ward committees are important pillars of democracy, and councillors must ensure that ward committees are established and function to ensure that people have avenues to register their challenges. The ANC support this report and ask that the House must adopt. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Members, that concludes the debate, and the decision on this report will be taken at a full plenary session of the Assembly. We shall now proceed to the second order, which is the consideration of report of Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs on oversight visit to the Free State. I now invite the Honourable Mkhize. Honourable Mkhize. Does not seem that the Honourable Mkhize is ready to proceed. I will then proceed to the next speaker and then come back to the Honourable Mkhize. Honourable Labuschagne.
Honourable Deputy Speaker, the Portfolio Committee's oversight visit to the Free State in February this year, motivated by political instability, poor service delivery, as well as the Auditor General's report on stagnation over the last 3 financial years, with material findings around quality of performance reports, compliance with key legislation and unfunded budgets, exposed the crisis in leadership, governance, finance and service delivery in municipalities. The report highlights inadequate leadership. The committee found that many municipal leadership teams in the Free State are plagued by a lack of stability, experience and capacity. a high percentage of vacancies, non-compliance to legislation, and unwillingness to agree or adhere to plans. 10 municipalities were part of the Eskom debt relief program, but only 2 are complying, as one example. The chair of the committee noted, I quote, "These municipalities are no exception. The Mangaung Metro is one of the only 2 metros in a group of 74 municipalities whose audited financial position was found to be so dire that they had to disclose significant doubt about their ability to continue operating fully," close quote. We've seen leadership unable to provide direction nor showcase a clear vision for correction, and disconnected from the realities of the people plagued by poor service delivery, as well as was witnessed during the meetings with the residents. The oversight visit revealed serious concerns about municipal finances in the Free State. Municipalities struggle to fulfill their financial obligations to such an extent that the Free State Provincial Treasury adopted a new function, the Municipal Financial Recovery Service, to assist with financial management. 90% of debt of the Free State municipalities is owed to Eskom and water boards. Households alone own almost 40 billion. For every 60 million spent on providing a service, there's a return of only 10 million. The fact of the matter, public funds are being mismanaged, accountability is weak, and residents, especially the most vulnerable, are suffering. The Department of Cooperative Governance identified the top 10 dysfunctional municipalities in the country, of which 3 are in the Free State. Mangaung is under the Section 1397 intervention. The oversight visit further revealed a high vacancy rate of critical positions, senior officials without the necessary qualifications or experience, poor compliance, no timely submission of annual financial statements, and non-functioning internal audit units. Honourable Chair, this cannot be accepted as a standard in municipalities whose ultimate function is service delivery to the residents. Due to the above failures, service delivery, especially water, sanitation, and electricity, either have collapsed or on the brink of collapse. Infrastructure maintenance is neglected. Less than 2% of the budgets are spent on infrastructure maintenance. The municipalities lack financial and administrative stability to solve these problems. Poor internal audit committees, non-functional municipal finance and disciplinary boards, unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure not being accounted for, investigated, and or recovered, and limited training of impacts is still the harsh reality. We keep saying that consequence management is not an option but a requirement of public service. However, we see officials implicated in irregular expenditure or procurement failures or mismanagement, yet they remain in posts or are quietly moved elsewhere. The excuse of different spheres of government will not end this culture of impunity. The findings of the committee's visit to the Free State provide both a warning and a blueprint. We need to serve our communities, not ourselves and our friends. The Democratic Alliance again emphasizes the importance of merit-based leadership appointments. Ensure that senior management are appointed on credentials, not political patronage. Introduce a mandatory skills audit for senior officials and managers to be tabled publicly. Stabilize leadership by enforcing at minimum Section 195 and 196 of the Constitution. Protect senior managers from undue political interference. Ensure that the findings of audit committees are acted upon. Ensure that a minimum of 8% of budgets is spent on infrastructure maintenance. Introduce performance contracts for senior managers with measurable targets linked to service delivery and financial performance. Where audit findings indicate persons, they must face disciplinary or criminal proceedings as warranted. Utilize technology and digital tools to enhance service delivery. Honourable Deputy Speaker, the residents of the Free State and every other municipality deserve better. A government that spends their money on services, leads competently, and holds wrongdoing to account. South Africa cannot afford another year of failure. Our people are tired of excuses. They want reliable service delivery and leadership that puts the country first. The Democratic Alliance is ready to be that leadership, one that values accountability, integrity, and service to the people. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Labuskaghni. I just want to make sure, Honourable Mkhize, are you ready to proceed? Does not seem so, so I will now proceed to, there you are. Honourable Mkhize, please proceed. Please unmute your microphone, Honourable Mkhize. Please proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. May I also apologize for this hitch. It's again the challenges of technology. I would also like to thank you for the opportunity to table this report of the Portfolio Committee, which was a visit which was conducted on the 24th to 28th of February to assess the functionality of Mangaung and municipality and Maluti Apofung. These two municipalities have been plagued with political instabilities dating back to 2016 and entrenched post 2021 local government election outcomes. Main challenge stemming from the 2021 local government outcome was the phenomenon of hung municipalities. These municipalities had a challenge of political and administrative instability, which impacted negatively on the service delivery to the constituencies. Many municipalities in the country are classified as dysfunctional. 10 of these, including Maluti Apofung, are in the Free State. Committee intended to address the issue of specific matters of concern raised by local communities, ranging from the need for forensic audits and investigations, problems of basic service delivery, and initiatives to address local economic development to boost employment and address poverty. The committee received the reports from the MECs and the Department of COCTA, Treasury and councillors, Auditor Generals, etc. These reports highlighted the inadequate revenue collection and billing challenges, and the challenge of passing, again, unfunded budgets. Local economic development strategy and indigent register also reported to be outdated. In both Mangaung and Maluti Apofung, the committee observed with concern the adverse audit outcomes. Maluti Apofung was worst, with the history of several disclaimers and responsible for almost 10% of the national debt to ESCOM. The committee emphasized the need for consequence management that must be strictly enforced to reverse the culture of impunity and uproot corruption. There are serious concerns as well raised about the infrastructure, particularly the wastewater treatment water works, which the Val Water was said to be attending to. The reports presented a level of honesty and optimism that things were beginning to change for the better. Political accountability was now being enforced, illegal appointments nullified, managerial vacancies being filled with appropriate skills. In Mangaung, there were existing war rooms with good participation by departments, ward committees being established. The mayor and the municipality had painted a picture of stable institution. What was the key observation of the committee was the need for political maturity on the political parties involved. Maluti Apofung still experienced political instability as a result of unstable coalition. Whilst the administration of the municipality reported the council, the Troika committees, the MPECs were functional, they were often threatened with motions of no confidence which affected maximum functionality. Deputy Speaker, what made matters worse for us was the finding out that administratively there were tensions between the mayor and the speaker over the role definition. There were accusations of employment of politically connected individuals in the administration, including outdated organogram. There were concerns regarding allegations in relation to the processes of appointment of the municipal manager. And these were referred to the council and MEC for investigation. Of course, the other issues we had noticed that whilst the ward committees had been established, they were not all fully functional. The committee held the community engagements subsequent to meetings with the municipality. Here, serious service delivery concerns were raised. In Mangaung, community members raised issues of contamination due to sewage spilling, water challenges, and crime committed in abandoned buildings, and issues of high unemployment. In Maluti Apofung, the same issues were raised in the committees, but more dominating was also the dissatisfaction among traditional leaders on how COCTA had interacted with them on issues of council elections. As often the case, there has always been disparity between what the administration says and what the people say. Because the presentation paints a picture of systematic issues at times, but the impact of those systematic changes is not felt by the people on the ground. Again, here, we believe that the committee's visit was very fruitful, and it was important that we had to do a follow-up, which we actually subsequently did with the joint oversight committees. And we believe, therefore, that some actions that have been recommended would make a difference. And we therefore want to recommend that this report be adopted, and we ask that the House must approve the report, and we will continue the oversight. And I believe a lot of work has been done to help to ensure the culture of accountability and consequence management. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Mkhize. Honourable members, Honourable Mare, could you please mute yourself? We now proceed to the Honourable Mtolo. Honourable Mare, you are not muted. Please mute yourself.
Honourable Deputy
Mtolo?
Speaker, can I request to close my video, please?
Yes, please go ahead.
Honourable Deputy Speaker, the report before us highlights what the Freedom Charter warned against: government that fails the people on basic services and dignity. The oversight visit to Mongawong and Maluchi Opofong confirms deep governance failures, political instability, collapsing infrastructure, and severe financial distress. In Mongawong, nearly 50% of water is unaccounted for, while 79,000 households remain without waterborne sanitation, with some still relying on buckets. Wastewater plants are dysfunctional, potholes are everywhere, and strategic infrastructure is vandalized with impunity. The AG has flagged 141 million rand in unspent grants and 16 material irregularities with minimal consequence management. In Maluchi Opofong, we observed political infighting, cadres abusing authority, and a staggering 8.8 billion rands Eskom debt, while residents sit in darkness. Workers and pensioners suffer. UIFW expenditure accumulates, and key oversight bodies like MPEG are paralyzed. Deputy Speaker, the people cannot eat political factionalism. Communities deserve water, functioning municipalities, dignity, and economic opportunity. The MK Party stands for accountability, modernized administration, real consequence management, and service delivery that restores dignity, especially for the poorest, historical, marginalized African indigenous and African Aboriginal families in these towns. We do not support the report and call for stricter enforcement, more frequent reporting to Parliament, and urgent intervention capacity at culture. Not talk shops. We must build municipalities where the people come first. Honourable Deputy Speaker, I must indicate, as a member of Parliament and a member of culture, I wrote to the Honourable Minister, Honourable Sabisa, raising these concerns. It is so unfortunate that the Minister never even responded, never even acknowledged my letter, which is an indication of arrogance on the side of the Minister. As Umkhonto weSizwe, we stick by the people, and we are against, and we vote against, we don't support this report. Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker.
The next speaker is the Honourable Mkalipi.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, at some stage, something must be done about the state of local government in our country. The glaring failures of local government in the Free State were all too apparent during this oversight visit. For the past 3 financial years, not a single municipality in the Free State has achieved a clean audit. In 2023, 2024, municipal recorded a shocking of 7.25 billion in unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure. This is poor corruption and is costing the lives of citizens. The Free State ranks among the top 10 most dysfunctional provinces in South Africa. Out of 23 municipalities, 19 are financially distressed. Only 4 are barely functioning in the Free State. Maluta Pofung has been under a coalition government since 2021, but instead of focusing on service delivery, the mayor and the speaker are fighting each other by accusing one another of bribery and sabotaging council quorums. During our oversight visit, Deputy Speaker, the entire presentation was about political infighting, not the needs of the people. Administration in Maluta Pofung is collapsing under nepotism and unqualified appointments. In Mangaung, the only metro in the province, corruption is the order of the day. The mayor and the speaker are missing in action. They seem completely lost and disconnected from the community. There are serious allegations of ghost employees still receiving salaries as we speak. The municipality has failed to account for this theft. This must be investigated and acted upon immediately. A forged signature scandal allowed an employee to withdraw large sum of money. The CFO lied, claiming the case was withdrawn due to the lack of evidence, and the fraudster was rehired back in this municipality, and this is unacceptable, and we demand a full report on this. The public transport project remains unresolved with strong signs of corruption involving municipal officials, yet there's still no transparent report. The provincial cocta is moving too slow to address this crisis in the Free State, even though the MEC acknowledged the issues, including Maluta Pofung, difficult history. There is no real action. Enough is enough, Deputy Speaker. The people of the Free State deserve in governance, accountability, competent leadership, and honest service delivery. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Mkalipi. I now invite the Honourable Buthelezi.
Thank you. Good morning again, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, members in the House, you know, until you go to a municipality like the Free State, you have no notion of the brokenness in this country, because where the rubber hits the road is at the municipality level. The IFP acknowledges the committee's thorough work and the valuable insights it provides into the realities facing municipalities such as Mangaung and Maluti Apofung. These municipalities mirror the broader challenges that confront local government across South Africa: challenges of financial instability, political discord, and cadre deployment, poor service delivery, and the erosion of administrative capacity, as has already been illustrated by my colleagues in the committee. We commend the department for its continued commitment to strengthening municipal support, improving financial oversight, and advancing the professionalization of local government. These are essential steps toward building capable and accountable municipalities. At the same time, we must confront the hard truths raised in this report. The persistence of audit disclaimers, weak consequence management, and recurring political instability cannot continue unchecked. Municipality must be places of service, not sites of conflict. Appointments must be based on merit, and public funds must serve the people, not private interests. We reiterate that genuine progress will depend on cooperation between national, provincial, and local spheres, and on restoring the public's trust through visible service delivery improvements. At the end of the day, Chairperson, Deputy Chair of the House, the Parliament cannot escape complicity. At the end of the day, it rests with the Parliament and in terms of delivery of this service. The IFP stands ready to continue working with all stakeholders to make that vision a reality. The IFP accepts the report. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Buthelezi. Honourable Van Wyk, you are the next speaker.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. The Patriotic Alliance rises in full support of the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs report following its oversight visit to Mangaung and Maluti Apufong municipalities in the Free State. What the committee uncovered is not merely dysfunction, it is a collapse of governance, a betrayal of constitutional duty, a direct assault on the dignity of our people. These municipalities are not failing in isolation. They are failing in full view of provincial and national structures that have tolerated decay, mismanagement, and corruption for far too long. The report lays bare collapse of basic services, water sanitation, refuse removal, while communities suffer in silence, irregular expenditure, and financial mismanagement, with no consequence for those responsible. Ineffective Section 154 support, proving that intervention without accountability is meaningless. Governance paralysis, driven by factionalism and political self-interest. Honorable Speaker, the Patriotic Alliance does not speak in euphemism. We speak for the people, and the people are tired of broken promises and recycled excuses. We therefore fully endorse the Portfolio Committee's recommendations and demand an urgent implementation of immediate forensic audits with findings made public and acted upon, deployment of competent apolitical administrators focused on service delivery, not self-enrichment, criminal referrals for officials implicated
Thank you,
in
Honourable
corruption
Van
and
Wyk.
health.
Your
Thank
time
you,
has expired.
Deputy Speaker.
Honourable Wessels, we now go over to you.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, it's very clear and apparent that local government in the Free State is in a crisis and municipalities in the province are completely broken. Urgent intervention is needed with real consequences and with real interventions that will improve service delivery. At this stage, there's a lack of maintenance in municipalities such as Maluti Apufong and also Mangaung Metro, where infrastructure is decaying and where people are not receiving basic services. There's rampant corruption and also misadministration. But Mangaung Metro has been under a mandatory Section 139 intervention since 2019, first in terms of subsection 5, and thereafter with National Treasury intervening in terms of subsection 7 in 2022. That's already 3 years with no real benefit. And then I have to once again repeat that this and these site visits also do not benefit the people because there's no urgent implementation of the recommendations, as these site visits took place in February of this year. 9 months later, we are only considering it, and there's no action that is going forth from these site visits to benefit and to improve the livelihoods of the people and the residents of these municipalities, I think.
Thank you, Honourable Wessels. The next speaker is the Honourable James.
Thank you so much, Chair. South Africans are being failed by a governing system that no longer serves them but serves itself. What we witness in Mangaung and Maluti Apufong is not governments, it is organized decay. These municipalities have become case studies in how political interference, cadre deployment, and sheer incompetence destroys communities. Basic services have collapsed, sewage runs through the streets while taps run dry, roads crumble, lights go out, and jobs vanish, yet officials fight over tenders and perks. Billions are owed to Eskom and water boards while the same politicians lecture citizens about responsibility. This is hypocrisy of the highest order. We refuse to accept this moral and administrative bankruptcy. Those entrusted to serve must be held accountable. This through the law, not through hollow political promises. We demand immediate forensic audits, disciplinary action, and criminal prosecutions where corruption has taken root. Competence, not comradeship, must become the standard for public office. Municipalities are not political playgrounds. They are engines of daily life for millions when they fail. People suffer and South Africans have suffered enough. Action SA will continue to stand with communities abandoned by corrupt, self-serving leaders. We will fight for clean, capable and citizen-centered local government. Our country's decline is not inevitable. It is the direct result of failed leadership, and it's time that that leadership gets replaced. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable James. I don't have a speaker for the ACDP, but I know that the Honourable Thring is online. Honourable Thring, are you going to speak? It does not seem so, so we will then proceed to the Honourable Ndamase. Please proceed, Honourable Ndamase.
Honourable Deputy Speaker, can you help me with can the table staff help me with the video?
Yes, I will check whether they can in fact activate your camera. It does not seem that they are able to do that. So, Honourable Ndamase, can you please proceed?
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Honourable Deputy Speaker, the MK party stands for chopping and changing. We want Honourable Hlophe back. We want Honourable Van Rooyen back. We reject any suspension from Nkandla. The state of local government in South Africa remains a touching subject because we seem to struggle to get it right. Each election brings about new challenges that needs our collective efforts to fix this important sphere. The phenomenon of hung municipalities since the previous local government elections has been a huge problem for our country. Election results, rather than being celebrated as outcomes of democracy, have brought about problems of political instability, which has impacted governance in massive ways. The challenges of the Free State are not exclusive, but are challenges the entire country is dealing with. Therefore, the report tabled here before us must be broadly considered as a report of local government so that we may learn from its outcomes and adopt best practices that can assist us, members of parliament, to discharge of our duties with high levels of robust oversight. The report on Mangaung and Maluti Apofong before us today for consideration paints a picture that should concern all of us. Our oversight to the Free State clearly shows that political stability is one of the cornerstones of good governance and service delivery in local government. Politicians ought to conduct themselves in a more mature manner that take into account the interests of the people more than their political parties or individual egos. When political parties fight over positions for political control, this infighting impact on governance and especially service delivery. It should not be that people live in sewer running on the streets. They are without water when their water leaks all over their streets, yet their taps are dry. It should not be that municipal offices turned into battlegrounds for political infightings while communities are not serviced. Furthermore, what tends to be concerning is that municipal officials often tell a story that paints a promising picture. But when we engage with communities, we get a different picture altogether. This disconnect between municipal view from the community is concerning because it tells us that communities are not feeling the impact of the changes and strategies being implemented by municipal administration. Therefore, all efforts to fix issues of the municipalities must be felt by communities because local government exists to serve the people, not officials of municipalities. As the African National Congress, we place so much value in local government. We believe that politics, difference, and ideologies should not be a big issue in local government. Local government is the basic unit of government. It is the face of government, and such must be protected, and its integrity must be protected against selfish individuals. We ask this House to consider and adopt the report as a reflection of true events that transpired during the oversight visit. Honorable Mtolo, I'm going to provide you with the correct copy of the Freedom Charter. As I sit down, the Brazilian educationist and philosopher, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Paulo Freire, once opined as follows, I quote, "Whoever teaches learns in the act of teaching, and whoever learns teaches in the act of learning," close quote. My clarion call for all the municipalities, please learn in the act of pretending to be teaching. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honourable Ndamase. Honourable members, that concludes the debate, and the decision of this report or on this report will be taken at a full plenary session of the Assembly. We now proceed to the last order, which is the consideration of report of Portfolio Committee on Public Service and Administration on oversight visit to Northwest and Gauteng provinces from 24 to 28 March 2025. I now invite the Honourable de Villiers.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The Constitution entrusts the Committee of Public Service and Administration with the responsibility to ensure that the public service operates with integrity, efficiency, and in the best interest of the South African people. Our oversight to the Northwest and Gauteng provinces in March of this year reminded us of both the potential of reform under the Government of National Unity, as well as the destructive pain of corruption, cadre deployment, and failing service delivery within our public administration. We visited facilities that are on the front line of service delivery, such as hospitals, home affairs offices, Tshwane centres, as well as the main office of the Public Service Commission. What we found were institutions burdened not by a lack of commitment from public servants, but by politically caused government system failures that suffocate performance and steals services from our people. At hospitals such as Merafong, Moses Kotane and Kalafong, the pattern was tragically familiar. Collapsing infrastructure, outdated equipment, chronic staff shortages due to stagnant organizational structures, and the complete absence of digitization, with patient records still trapped in paper files and revenue management done by hand. These are not mere administrative gaps, they are barriers to life-saving care. They are the price ordinary citizens pay for years of neglect, mismanagement, and the slow erosion of accountability through a culture of cadre deployment and enrichment of elite BEE tenderpreneurs through the plundering of services meant for the poor. The committee noted many urgent systematic challenges that demand intervention at these hospitals. But it is often said that the bloated public service wage bill is the core problem, insinuating that the amount of public servants on the payroll create the problematic expense. But I don't agree. Wastage through corruption in the public service is the core problem. The government pays salaries to a corrupt minority of public servants who do not work the hours they are contracted to, who illegally do business with the state while on the state's payroll, who create ghost workers, who facilitate tenderpreneurs in their milking of the state, and even some who draw social grants while being full-time employees of the government. This is theft. It is organized crime within the state, theft from taxpayers and from the poor who depend on public services, committed by sophisticated syndicates inside the public service. If we are to restore faith in the state, these problems must be confronted, not excused. That is why under the GNU we are hard at work at re-engineering the public administration, the engine of government, in order to create a professional, merit-based and apolitical government public service. We must reward honest work, enforce ethical leadership, and use technology to eliminate opportunities for corruption. The recent hunt for ghost employees, a cooperation between Treasury, the DPSA, and the AG, is testament to this new commitment from the GNU to reform and rebuild a professional public service. A clean, capable, and professional public service is not just a governance issue. It is the foundation for economic recovery. When services work, the economy grows. When corruption is rooted out, confidence returns. And when honest officials are empowered, citizens receive the dignity of delivery. South Africa can no longer afford the luxury of mediocrity and jobs for pals, cadres, and elite BEE fat cats. Every rand wasted on inefficiency is a rand stolen from the fight against poverty. Our mission must be to build a state that serves, not one that drains. Let us commit to a future where the hospitals we visit are places of healing, not despair, where officials serve with pride, not in fear, and where every act of accountability brings us closer to restoring trust in the government. I thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable de Villiers. The next speaker is the Honourable Spies.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson and Honourable Members. The theme of this oversight was ensuring good governance through human resource management practices in the public service. This reminds us that a capable, ethical, and accountable public service is the foundation of good governance. Because even the best policies and biggest budgets mean little if those tasked with delivering services are trapped in systems defined by cadre deployment, mismanagement, and weak accountability. This committee's oversight of the Northwest and Gauteng provinces revealed a public service still battling to recover from years of political interference and administrative decay. There are pockets of progress, yes, but they remain exceptions rather than the rule. In Northwest, while audit outcomes have improved on paper, the reality on the ground tells a harder story. A few clean audits cannot disguise the instability caused by constant leadership changes, prolonged acting appointments, and a culture where accountability is too often absent. In Gauteng, the country's economic heart situation is equally concerning. Despite its resources and capacity, the province continues to struggle with service delivery backlogs, infrastructure neglect, and an overburdened workforce. The establishment of an ethics advisory council and certain lifestyle audits are welcome, but they mean little when cadre deployment continues to undermine a professional, merit-based public service. Across both provinces, disciplinary management remains a major weakness. Some officials have been on suspension for more than 900 days, costing taxpayers millions. In the Northwest alone, precautionary suspensions costs over 6 million rand, with only 71 of the 255 misconduct cases finalized. This is not inefficiency. It is systemic failure born of political protection and the absence of consequence management. In the health sector, the conditions observed were deeply troubling. At Mafeking Provincial Hospital, the ICU roof leaks. Staff accommodation is crumbling, and only 4 ambulances serve nearly 1 million residents. At Kalafong Hospital, the CEO posts have been vacant for years. Morale is low and patients queue for hours for medication because systems remain paper-based. The Department of Home Affairs also faces infrastructure and staffing challenges. In several offices, citizens endure long queues and repeated system failures. Honourable Chairperson, oversight cannot stop at observation. It must demand accountability and reform. Too often, reports are noted and filed while the same issues reappear year after year. This committee must ensure that when departments fail to act, there are consequences. And that's why a post-oversight review mechanism is essential to track recommendations, timelines, and outcomes. Because without follow-through, oversight becomes performance, but with accountability, it becomes transformation. The DA believes that rebuilding the public service starts with professionalization and not politicization. It means recruiting on merit, enforcing consequence management without fear or favor, and modernizing systems to serve citizens efficiently. It means a public service driven by integrity, not political allegiance. We therefore recommend that the Department of Health accelerates digital systems, fills critical vacancies, and ensure hospitals have competent and stable management. That the DPSA deploys skilled professionals to resolve long-standing disciplinary cases and overhaul suspension guidelines. That the Department of Home Affairs, under the leadership of Minister Schreiber, continues the commendable work already underway to professionalize the department, modernize its IT infrastructure, and restore efficiency and dignity in service delivery. I have great confidence that under his stewardship, Home Affairs will address the many challenges that we have highlighted. Chairperson, this oversight showed a state burdened by the consequences of steady deployment and mismanagement, but also glimpses of what is possible when professionalism and accountability are restored. As we adopt this report, let us commit not only to noting the findings, but to enforcing them firmly, fairly, and consistently. Because good governance is not achieved through slogans or summits. It's achieved through ethical leadership, consequence management, and a public service that puts the people first. The honourable members, it's the vision of the Democratic Alliance to continue to fight for a capable state that serves, not a captured one that survives. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Space. The next speaker is the Honourable Malinga.
No, thanks, Chairperson. It's Honourable Mutubati. I'll be standing in for Honourable Malinga. Can I remain switched off?
Please proceed, Honourable Mutubatse.
This report represents the government of neoliberal unity as a dungeon of hopelessness. MKP remains the last hope of our people in the future governments. While the report is dressed in the language of progress and compliance, it conceals the lived reality of our people, a reality marked by neglect, inefficiency, and suffering. In the Northwest, in Mafikeng Hospital, patients still go without water, ambulances arrive late, healthcare workers are overstretched and undersupported. At Moses Kotane Hospital, patients wait for hours because files are still stored in card boxes, not digital system. That is not progress. That is failure of leadership and planning. In Rustenburg, at the Department of Home Affairs, elderly citizens queues in the sun with no shelter, no shade, no sitting, and with no dignity. 67 posts remain vacant, yet action is not taken to fill in this post. In Kalafong Hospital has had no permanent CEO for years. Staff morale is low and patients wait for the entire day for basic medication. The report praises compliance and meetings, but our people cannot eat compliance. They cannot be healed by meetings. They need functioning clinics, responsive schools, and efficient public offices. The report claims that lifestyle audits are underway, yet the same corrupt officials remain in power. In Gauteng alone, over 150 government employees are doing business with the state. That is not government. That is theft from the people. Back in the office of the Premier in Northwest, many senior managers lack qualifications required for their positions. How can we expect the service delivery when the top is broken? Some officials have been suspended for nearly 3 years, drawing full salaries whilst they are doing work. That money should be paying nurses, teachers, and for clean water, not rewarding idleness. Honorable members, we must not applaud mediocrity. Doing your job is not an achievement, but it's a duty. Our people are not asking for miracles. They are asking for results, not excuses, for service, not speeches. For these reasons, the Umkhonto we reject this particular report. We speak for the poor, for the sick, and forgotten. And we say, enough, enough, something needs to be done, and MK is the future. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Mutubatse. And I invite the Honourable Gileshe.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker.
Honourable Gileshe, before you proceed, Honourable Dunjwa, could you please mute yourself? Thank you. Honourable Gileshe, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. As the EFF, we note the contents of this report. However, we must state from the onset that it is a sanitized document which fails to reflect the true depth of collapse in governance, particularly in the Northwest Province. The findings reveal not only a struggling administration, but one that is fundamentally broken, corrupt, and incapable of fulfilling its constitutional mandate. The Northwest has been under Section 100 intervention since 2018. 7 years later, only 4 out of 12 departments have approved organizational structures. Without a proper institutional architecture, there can be no accountability. The disciplinary system is equally dysfunctional. Officials remain on suspension with full pay for periods exceeding 900 days. Over 600 million rands has been spent on precautionary suspensions alone, money that should have provided services to our people. This is not administrative oversight, Deputy Speaker. It is a coordinated extraction of public funds. The report refers to ghost employees as if this were a technical irregularity. It is fraud. It is systematic payroll theft by ANC cadres and their networks. Lifestyle audits have been performed, yet no consequences have been followed. They serve as cosmetic exercises to appease Parliament, not instruments of accountability. The crisis in public health is catastrophic. At Mafikeng Hospital, newborn babies are placed in card boxes. Roofs leak in ICU wards. Healthcare workers reside in unsafe and degrading accommodation. At Moses Kotane Hospital, patient waits for hours for medication because records are kept in a manual filing system reminiscent of the 1950s. It is not service delivery failure. It is cruelty against the poor. In Gauteng, the situation mirrors the same pattern. There is an 11% vacancy rate in critical departments, while 152 government employees are doing businesses with the state, an outright conflict of interest that continues unpunished. These are not isolated challenges. These are direct outcomes of ANC cadre deployment policy, which prioritizes loyalty over competence. In the office of the Premier in the Northwest, only 64 of senior managers are qualified for these positions. This is institutionalized incompetence. The EFF demands a comprehensive forensic audit of all provincial departments, especially payroll system, to eliminate ghost employees. Criminal charges against officials involved in fraud, and immediate resolution of all suspensions exceeding.
Thank you, Honourable Gileshe.
We must not normalize this decay, Deputy Speaker. Our people deserve a state that works. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next speaker is the Honourable Langa.
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Can I please keep my camera off? My network is not too good.
Yes, that's in order. Yes, that's fine.
My network is not too good. Not sure if it's the effects of Makate's out-of-court settlement with the service provider. Deputy Speaker, the Inkatha Freedom Party welcomes the report and supports the committee's recommendations regarding governance, service delivery, and ethical administration in Northwest and Gauteng provinces. We further endorse the call for urgent interventions to address prolonged disciplinary cases, unqualified senior appointments, and structural and budget misalignments in provincial health and public service institutions, as observed during the oversight visit. The IFP commend both provinces for their cooperation and notes significant progress in improving audit outcomes, ethics management, and lifestyle audits. However, challenges remain in ensuring that these improvements translate into tangible service delivery for citizens, particularly in the Northwest Province. In Gauteng, we acknowledge the establishment of effective service delivery initiatives, such as the Mabonya Tusom Service Center, but remain concerned about high vacancy rates in critical departments, instability in healthcare management, and non-compliance with financial disclosure requirements. The IFP also notes the importance of the Public Service Commission and the National Anti-Corruption Hotline in promoting accountability and recommends that both institutions be adequately resourced and supported to strengthen oversight and anti-corruption mechanisms. The IFP supports this report. Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Langa. I just want to make sure, do we have a speaker from the PA? Not. Freedom Front Plus? I don't see anyone. We will then proceed to the Honourable Beasley.
Thank you, House Chair. This report paints a troubling picture of a public service that is collapsing under the weight of mismanagement, cadre deployment, and a complete failure of national and provincial leadership to uphold even the most basic standard of governance. Action SA welcomes the committee's efforts, but we cannot ignore what was uncovered during this oversight. In the Northwest, after 7 years under Section 100, communities still face empty promises whilst hospitals crumble. EMS staff are attacked and suspended officials earn salaries for up to 978 days without consequences. This is clear neglect by those responsible. The revelations regarding senior managers without required qualifications, departments operating without approved structures, and thousands of frozen or unfunded posts shows the public service unable to fulfill its constitutional mandate. The fact that only 64% of SMS officials in the Office of the Premier meet qualification requirements is a glaring indictment of a system that rewards loyalty over competence. In Gauteng, despite improvements, the picture remains deeply concerning. Long queues at Home Affairs, chronic staff shortages, outdated systems, high vacancy rates in key departments, and the failures of officials to disclose properties and vehicles expose a culture where accountability is optional. Chairperson, Action SA supports this report, but calls for the enforcement of consequence management, strengthened lifestyle audits, the end of prolonged suspensions, and ensures that merit, not politics, governs appointments. These oversight reports will remain paperwork while service delivery collapses around our people. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Beasley. I do not have speakers from the other parties, so we will now proceed to the last speaker on the list, and that is the Honourable Tikana Kotiwe.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. May I ask that I remain muted, my video muted?
Yes, you may keep your camera off.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable members, the oversight visit by the Portfolio Committee of Public Service and Administration was sanctioned in accordance with the committee's constitutional obligation. The ANC has often reaffirmed its support for the legislature's responsibility in exercising oversight over the executive, encouraging public participation in its work, and passing legislation to improve society and transform the status quo. The role of oversight is to ensure accountability and compliance, as well as to instill a developmental mindset in the state. Parliamentary scrutiny is a critical component of democracy. It keeps the administration accountable for its activities and ensures that policies are implemented in compliance with legislation and budgets established by Parliament. The oversight of Gauteng and Northwest was both an opportunity and an eye-opener. Although there are noticeable improvements in the lives of the people since the dawn of democracy, much effort is still needed to transform and annihilate the apartheid structural legacy. The mushrooming of squatter lack of basic services such as water and electricity is still a torn issue, especially in urban areas. The approach by the Gauteng government to locate the services in one place next to a shopping center and inside malls has proven to be a step in the right direction. People can be able to run errands and have the opportunity to access services in one place. However, shortages of staff, especially in SASSA and Home Affairs, watered down these efforts. Long queues and poor services are born out of an inadequate and poor staff complement. The ANC has commended the Gauteng province on its quest to enforce a lifestyle audit on its employees, especially senior management. We need to praise their good work It is in ANC view that this work should be extended to all staff members, not only reserved for seniors. We believe the rot affects everyone. The oversight happened at a time when Northwest had still under Section 100 since 2022. The Portfolio Committee witnessed a myriad of positive interventions. The real concern for the ANC is that Northwest has a delay in appointing the Public Service Commissioner in the province. This act will delay the province from enforcing compliance with public service policies and frameworks governing the sector. We call upon those in authority to make a swift response and make a recommendation of the candidate to occupy this significant office. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the ANC in government has sought and continues to seek to confront the challenges of poverty and underdevelopment, conduct an enhanced oversight, and ensure a better life for all thoughts a comprehensive people-centered and people-driven program of social transformation. The ANC support the report, Chair. In conclusion, Chair, I would say to Honorable Mathubase, it is impossible for them to see a moving or a transforming government when they are unable to manage their organizational affairs, when cheap-chopping their leadership of deployment, but they think there are hope. We believe that the ANC stands for people and the ANC stands for transforming the communities and our public service. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable members, that concludes the debate and the business of this virtual mini-plenary session. The decision on this report will be taken at a full plenary session of the Assembly, and the mini-plenary will now rise.